What's up, people? We're live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James, of course, my co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, how you doing?
Good. Sundays are
I
good.
know, crazy fight weekend too. We had UFC yesterday.
Yeah,
We had
it was.
Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva.
Yeah,
Quite the interesting fight. Didn't
it
go the
was.
way I wanted it to, but that's my
Oh God, I
personal opinion.
know.
We'll get
Yeah,
into that a little bit more, but we have UFC that happened yesterday. It was a fight night involving Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen. And man, talk about a freak accident
yeah.
in that finish.
It's so
Calvin
cringy.
Kattar
I don't like watching it.
threw a knee, but landed wrong.
Mm.
And I believe he tore a ligament. Is that correct?
It had to have been. It had to have been. Only because I know what that feels like, and that's so he landed wrong on his leg, and sometimes you just get that angle where it does not agree with the rest of your body, and it snaps. And you could see the pain on his face right away, too. After that happened, he picked his leg up immediately and was holding it. So I knew exactly what happened. I don't know what ligaments. It doesn't matter. It's all painful. But
All pain, leg pain, the end.
yeah, you can't do much else after that. I mean, you're on the ground, sure. But how long can that last? You got to get back up at some point. So it's a good idea for him to stop anyway. But Arnold Allen, kind of a beast.
Yeah,
I
he
never
looked
really
good
paid too much
from the
attention to
highlights
him.
I saw. He was
Yeah,
looking pretty solid with his striking.
his striking's
And
very
then
good.
Alvin tried to answer, but it didn't work out in his favor. Oh man, that looked weird when he landed and he hit
I
like
know.
he was like
I,
turned. Ooh, you
yeah,
could tell instantly this ain't right. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm out."
yeah. So that sucks. I hate watching those kind of injuries. Yeah, man. There was another fight, and I don't remember because I think it was on the prelims. Maybe it was on the main card, but someone else had hurt their leg as well, where they were still trying to stand up and fight when their leg had probably snapped a ligament, so it was very wobbly. And the fact that they still try to stand up and watch it, like, glitch every once in a while, like not glitch, but you could just see the leg not holding together. And it's so cringy because I've hurt my knee so many times. It's like, I know what's going on. And that is, I don't know, makes me want to barf. But anyway, yeah.
It gives you that flashback moment, like
It does, but
because you know what it's like.
the pain of how loose your leg is not right, you know? So,
And
yeah,
that
it's
was
unfortunate.
early on in the second round, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Arnold Allen, up until then, actually did look good in the fight. It's just unfortunate that the fight finish didn't
Right.
correlate
Finish that
from
way.
that. It correlated from an injury.
Yeah, because their striking exchanges were pretty cool. So that would have been a great fight if it went to the end. But unfortunately, shit happens. That sucks.
That's true. So that was in that fight. And then Max Griffin, who I wanted, took a
I think
split
you picked him,
decision.
huh?
I did.
Yeah.
Guy from Sacramento. Like, I've seen him fight.
Yeah.
He's a regional fighter, at least to me, within California. So, hell yeah, I'm always going to pick them. And
Yeah.
he did get the split decision nod. I didn't catch this fight, unfortunately.
I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't catch. Like I said, I was I was taking a nap on and off. Like I put the fights on, and I caught some, missed some.
It's the weekend. I mean, I was out and
and I
about all
didn't care. I
day.
was like, I'll watch them again. But
I had company, so I didn't catch anything
Oh.
really. I did catch some highlights, but that was really it.
mainly highlights. Yeah.
We had Waldo Acosta, if I could say that right, get the win over Jared Vandera by unanimous decision. Now, when heavyweights fight, let's be real, we never want to see him go to decision.
Yeah, it's a little like, well, I mean, I've seen some
It's
crazy
uneventful, ideally.
Yeah, or it's very far few and far between that you would get a heavyweight fight that would go the distance and be a really good fight because someone's going out. But yeah.
But Acosta got total strikes, better strikes. Vandera went for a takedown but didn't score it, and Acosta landed more significant strikes. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to see those heavyweights bang.
And you can see where I fell asleep because I watched this one.
Wow. But what she's saying is, guys, you guys are boring.
No, UFC is not boring. It's just when you're tired.
Oh yeah, I get that.
You eat a bunch of food and you get that food coma going.
That
on.
heaviness. Yeah. I'm older than you, of course. We've established that many times.
Yeah.
So if I eat really anything, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Right. Yeah. Especially on the weekend, it's like, who cares? No.
Yeah. When you don't really have anything going on.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I had just come back from the gym too, so it was. That's my Saturday routine is workout, at Manny's at 11, starts at 11 to 12, get food on my way home, come home, turn on UFC if it's on early, or even some of them start at like 3. So, and then you fall in and out of consciousness every once in a while.
I get that. I understand that.
Yeah, it's so great though. I love it.
Now, this, I can understand why I got performance of the night nods.
Yes.
It was the craziest guillotine choke I've ever seen. And I've been around MMA since 2008. I've trained not a lot or very often in jiu-jitsu, but I know a little something. Forever white belt, hashtag. But Tresean Gore got the weirdest angle on a guillotine choke and held it to get the win. It was nasty. I'm glad you told me to check out that highlight because that was nuts.
It was. And it after he got him, it's like he just didn't want to let go and just doubled down on the position he was already in and ended it that way. I also feel like just the pressure that guy has in his arms when he has your neck. I feel like he would have tapped to the pressure rather than going out, but he did go out. He went out. I think the ref waited a bit too long, but that's okay. You have to make sure. But
that's it.
Yeah, but that angle and just the pressure, and you could it looked like his head was just going to rip off for a second.
I couldn't believe I've never seen the guillotine at an angle like that. And so that
I've never seen someone double down on that position without adjusting a little bit.
Yeah.
You just went for it.
He was like, no, this is it. I'm going to get him like this. And he did. He had that, the way he had the neck bent and the body, like, no,
crazy.
You're done.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So that was a hell of a highlight. I can understand why it became the performance of the night, one of the performance of the nights. So good on him for that, especially 49 seconds into the second.
Yeah. And
his arms weren't he wasn't gassed out yet.
No, and he needed some wins because coming off the Ultimate Fighter, I think he'd lost twice in a row. So people were kind of sketchy about him. But this win was really good. It was really good for him. So we'll see what's next for him. I totally missed Dustin Jacoby and Khalil Roundtree. I heard that
Roundtree won.
I heard that this was really, really close, and I have to watch it today, just because I wanted to watch it anyway. But I heard it was close, and I heard some comments saying it was controversial, so I need to check it out.
Really?
See what happened. I'm not surprised because Dustin Jacoby and Khalil Roundtree are both very good stand-up fighters. So I wonder. I mean, it looks like there was 0 takedowns, so this was a kickboxing match.
Yes,
and
there was punches and bunches.
They're both Muay Thai and kickboxing, so I don't know. Khalil Roundtree has really stepped up his striking game. But Dustin Jacoby came off of started watching him in Glory, really good in Glory, and then switched over to MMA and has been doing pretty good in MMA. Also, it's just you don't want to stand up with him is the thing. But Khalil Roundtree had spent quite a while in Thailand doing Muay Thai because I think he wasn't doing so well in UFC at first. He took off, went to Thailand, learned some Muay Thai, came back and kicked the shit out of his opponent. When he came back, I think he also may have gotten injured the fight after that. So it was kind of like, we don't know what's going on with this guy, but he's a stand-up fighter. So I really need to go back and watch this one. I have a feeling I'm going to think that Dustin Jacoby won, but I got to go back and watch it.
So you know if it's a split decision, it's pretty close.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. Both those guys, it seems like that must have been an exciting fight because you get two kickboxers like that. It's going to be good. And a split decision, so you know it was close. So it's probably crazy. So we'll see. I'm going to watch that when we get off of here and check it out.
All right. And then you were commenting about one of the prelim fights, and I had to believe it was Phil Haas versus Roman.
Dolitze.
That's it.
Was that the one? I
Well,
did
it got honors, another performance of the night honors, first round TKO, KO.
Oh,
Roman getting the win.
Okay, I think this is a guy that hurt his leg. To be honest, I think this is it. And yeah, Roma Delise did finish him pretty quick. Yeah, that was a crazy knockout too. I need to go back and rewatch that as well. Andrei Arlovsky fought also. I caught that one. And Marcos Rogerio de Lima is huge. This guy is so big.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Oh my gosh. And Andrei Arlovsky doesn't look that big of a heavyweight. So I'm always surprised when you see a big heavyweight like that compared to Andrei Arlovsky. It's like he's kind of a normal sized dude, not heavyweight. So when he fights these heavyweights, it's like, whoa, look at that size difference. But Arlovsky lost. Poor guy, still fighting. But, and he does really good. He normally does pretty good.
Yeah, he's still performing. That's why they still have him around.
And it was crazy. I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, he's gone from, a couple organizations to UFC, has gone up the ladder to UFC, up and down, up and down. He's been main events, main card. Now he's prelims, and sometimes he's on the main card still. Like, he can go either way. He's been up and down with UFC for so long, and he's still like same guy, still got his power, his energy, and everything. It's so wild that this guy
has been there for
the way he fights. How he's the only one to do it for this long and not have severe brain injuries and stuff.
Then again, how often do we hear him talk?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember, but he's still there. Like, I want to, like, this guy. I wonder how many fights he has on his contracts, because I feel like it's never run out.
I imagine he just signs for maybe like another 2 or 3 fights, maybe that much, or it could be fight to fight. Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, his energy that he has is pretty good. He's a pretty like solid dude, solid fighter still. And he can create a lot of problems for people. But man, that his opponent was so big. I'm like, he's gonna get knocked out.
All right, that was our look at UFC Fight Night from last night. But right now, we are actually joined by a guest, Martin Montez. What's going on, man?
How's it going?
It's going. How's it going with you?
It's going great. Life's been great. Been feeling blessed. What more could I say?
I know, coming off a ground and pound victory from your last 559 fights fight. So yeah. I just saw the highlights from that.
Yeah.
Looking awesome. So, I mean, you've only competed in 559 fights, and you're 3-3 right now from what I saw on your Tapology record. How did you get into MMA?
I don't know. Since a kid, I started like watching Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and just growing up, I just felt like also like I remember my brother was watching UFC, and I think it was Diego Sanchez versus Gilbert Melendez. I'm not sure who it was, and after that, I just fell in love with it. I started shadow boxing on my own, doing a bunch of stuff. I had a babysitter, and my mom was paying a lot of money just to get babysat. And at the mall, there was this karate dojo, and they taught taekwondo, karate, judo, and all that stuff. And I told my mom, sign me up. If you're gonna pay that. I was only like 7 years old. Wow. Telling her this stuff. So I felt like just being a fighter was in my blood. Just growing up. And so I started as well as boxing in 5th grade, And
Shit.
as I got older, I started jiu-jitsu like around 16, 15, and it was a kickbox. It was named Paragon from Santa Maria. It was a kickboxing dojo and it was a jiu-jitsu dojo. And I remember some guy named John from Paragon in Santa Maria told me, "Do you want to do this as a career?" And I was only 14 years old.
Oh my goodness.
That just
Jeez.
me,
That's a hard question to ask someone.
right. And I'm not sure why he asked me that at the time. I've never been conceited, you know. I've never felt, you know, like that, you know. And so I just thought about it as I got older, and then I got into trouble actually, and I really didn't know what to do. I was in the streets a lot, you know, and my coach told me he was moving out. His name's Anthony DeCurse, one of them, and he was moving out of Fresno out here, right? And he told me, "You have potential." He saw me like get into trouble, get into trouble. He mentored me, so he felt some type of way. So he lended me his truck to move out here, and this was about 2 years ago. And he told me, "Train at the Throne," and that's what I did. That's how I got into it, because I really didn't know what else to do. Like, just I love to fight, and that's the only thing I see myself doing in the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So then what was it like when you walked into Dethrone to start training? Were you accepted with open arms? Were they like, I don't know about this guy?
Well, you know, I've always been a respectful guy. I have my manners and stuff. I went in there with positive attitude. I didn't go in there as I want to be a fighter. I was looking for trouble. No, I introduced myself. I told him what was going on and who my coach was at the time, and what his goal there is to do, and my goal is to do. He's partnered up with the owner of Dethrone, and so, you know, I don't know. I just go with the wind, you know. I really don't know what to do, and I see something, I feel something, and I do it, and I go all out, no breaks, all gas. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Kaelyn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I
I
was
was
like,
like,
I had more questions. What is your training schedule like over there? Is that in Dethrone? Is that really the only place you go to get your training? I know they have everything there. So
Yeah,
do you stick around there for everything, or what's your schedule
yeah,
like?
they have several gyms out here in the valley in Fresno. But Dethrone is the only gym I've trained at since I've been here. I haven't been to no other gyms. I've been, you know, pretty loyal, I should say. But I do want to like start getting knowledge from different gyms and stuff in the near future. Yeah, so my schedule there is well, how it was and how it should be. I go there at 5:30, or at 5 I do strength and conditioning, and after strength and conditioning, a hard hit class, we do jiu-jitsu. We go over technique, the knowledge, and then we freestyle. We live roll. We do about 7 minute, nine. I'm not sure if it's 9 or 7 minute rounds. We do it about 5 times. After that, what is it? It's 6:30, 7:30. At 7:30, we start with the Muay Thai. Same thing, the knowledge, the drilling, and then we light spar. We love to do a lot of drilling and a lot of that stuff, because if we straight just spar, people are not going to want to come and learn.
Yeah. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
No.
There he
Oh,
is.
there he is. There we go.
Yeah, so
you just get in everything at Dethrone as of right now. Okay.
As I was growing up, they told me I was trying to fight since I was 18, and I just couldn't, because I really didn't show, like I showed up, but I wasn't consistent, and I wasn't there all day. Like they told me to do. They told me, if you want to be a fighter, you have to be there literally all day, at least.
It's your job. Yeah, kind of like it's your job to be there. Of thing.
Don't go in there and pretend and just do this for yourself. Like, do this as a job. And that stuck with me for like a while until this day. You know, I feel guilty if I don't show up. I feel guilty. I feel like I shouldn't fight. You know what I mean? So yeah, I try to squeeze these 4 times or 3 times of training a day.
Wow, that's a heavy schedule. But that's great. How old are you, by the way?
I am 22.
Okay, so your body is in good shape for that.
Yeah.
It gets harder when you get older. So do you have to are you only working on fighting right now? Do you have to upkeep with another job in the meantime also?
No, yeah, right now I'm working as an armed guard with a security here in Fresno. I just my friend he actually trains with me. My boss, one of my bosses, and his dad owns the company, but he's like one of those guys, you know, and he sees how dedicated I am and how much I've changed since my past. So he hooked me up with the job. We did everything, paperwork, the background check, and everything. And yeah, he's been a good guy. You know, he hooked me up with the job, and the reason why I chose security is because you don't really get to do break your back for that. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, that's smart. And I bet you work weird hours too, huh?
Yes, they changed my schedule a lot. They there's a lot of hours. Sometimes we work 6 times a week, sometimes 7. It's just the schedules. Someone doesn't show up or something, it gets flipped around, and I get their schedule. Sometimes I'm off weekends, sometimes I'm not. You know, so yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've had 6 fights total. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. What So do you have a specific background in any particular martial art, or are you kind of just mixing it all together? What's your favorite? What do you feel like you're excelling at the most?
I came in as a striker for sure. I came in as a striker, and I want to say my striking ability came from karate. I started off with karate for sure, and yeah, I started off with karate, and what else did I went into boxing. That's what it was. But then with the karate and the MMA game, it doesn't mix as well because you get people who are, and that changes the whole game. You know, you put a striker together, the rest has a better chance. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd say karate. I'd say karate.
Really? Oh, that's cool. Do you feel like you excel in that a little bit better than like wrestling and jiu-jitsu?
The striking?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, yes. I love to strike. I'm a stand and bang type of guy, you know. But in the MMA, it's not like that. Like,
well,
they will take you down, and I have a good ground game. I'm giving people a show, you know. And not everybody's like that. Some people are there just to make sure they win, you know. And I feel like that's a lot with the grapplers. So I come from a good gym, a good grappling gym, jiu-jitsu, 6 blades. Yeah. And they tell me you could grapple, you know, like use it if you have to. Don't just stand up and bang. Like if you see an opportunity, do it. Like grapple a guy. And I feel like that's what I had in mind. My last fight was use your ground game, you know. So yeah, that's what I did.
Well, I mean, from the looks of the highlights, you got top mount, but then you were just like, I'm here. Let's rain.
Yeah. You can't hurt me from down there, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good highlight. That was really good.
In jiu-jitsu, what belt are you at? Are you like
so I am a blue belt now. I started, like I said, I just started about jiu-jitsu a year and a half ago, and I just got my blue belt about.
That's awesome.
That's good.
3 months.
That's a good amount of time.
Right. And I feel like I earned it because I went every single day for a year and a half. I put in the time. I haven't competed in jiu-jitsu yet, and I will soon.
Oh.
But in this gym, they don't just give it to you. They need to see the technique. They need to see it. Even if you're there 24/7 and they don't see the technique, they won't give it to you. You know, they need to see it. That's why we do the drilling and the technique every single day.
That's good. I hear a lot about some gyms have an issue, or people say like, oh, they're just giving belts out. I hear that a lot about a few gyms. But I like that there are gyms out there that don't do that. Like they do need to see you for one, attendance. You could go there every day, but like you said, you do have to kind of prove it.
Yeah.
With either your technique and your skill, or competing and stuff like that. Because I do know some gyms do kind of give those things out, and it's such a cheat. Like it's like, I don't know why people are comfortable with that. Like I would want, you'd want to deserve it and earn it, because you're gonna wear the belt, people are gonna think you're this and that, and maybe
Right.
you're not. And that's got to be the worst thing ever, to go into a competition with other blue belts or purple, brown belts and not actually be at that level. And you got that belt now, you can't go backwards.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah,
kind of have to.
it's not your fault.
love
It's
your
your
position.
it's the coach's fault for doing that. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's
Yeah.
you're making the guy think he's good when it's not like that. You know?
Right, setting up for failure. So
Yeah.
I love stories of those gyms that it takes forever to get your next belt, or it takes forever to win that fight, you know. And I think that does a whole lot better for someone than just telling them, oh, you're doing great, when, you know, maybe you're not, you know. So
Yeah.
So what are some of your goals competing in amateur MMA? Do you plan on going pro? I mean, you do this basically full time.
Yeah.
So is that your goal, is to go pro?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, I don't know what else I should be doing, you know. And I come from a Muay Thai team as well. I just never fought for them, but I was preparing myself in Santa Maria. It's called Bloodline Elite, and I remember Nick. He told me, he's like, "Don't be a wasted talent. You know, you have talent in this game. Don't be a wasted talent." And that scarred me, like, for sure. Like, I think about it every day. Like, don't be a wasted talent. Like, what does he mean by that? And I think I know exactly what he means. So yeah, I do want to go pro, and I do want to see how far I could get to. For, you know, I just, like I said, I all gas, no brakes, just go for it. You know.
now, do you besides, you know, your workouts every day and that kind of schedule, do you take care of yourself outside of that? I mean, I know you can only step on the gas for so long until something breaks. So do you have any kind of routines or anything that you do to take care of yourself, extra, like massages or you know, anything like that to I know you're young, so you probably don't feel any pain, but it comes later.
I don't know. No, I've been
No.
I've been just raw dogging it.
Yeah.
So my mom's a massage therapist, so
There you go. Okay.
If it comes to that point, I will drive 2 hours down there. I will stay there for a week.
Oh, perfect.
I will go through my therapy.
That's cool.
Yes, good. But no, if I get hurt, I make sure I listen to my body. You know, if something's hurting, you take a break. You even if it's a day or two, take a break, ice it. A lot of icing. Icing is the cheat code here. Say if you have it takes a week to heal up, you ice, you minimize that by 3 days. You know what I mean?
Smart. That's right.
I say icing, you know, a lot of ice.
Now you came off this win from 559, and I mean, you don't look like you took any real damage. Are you already back in the gym? Did you maybe take a week?
No,
and then go back?
So I showed up to the gym the next day. I didn't have an injury. I had just like a little bruise on my eye from a punch he landed. But so for me to get back into the gym, I have to put a couple hours of work, you know, just to pay off some bills, since I you know, I'm not working on sponsorships right now and stuff like that. So I am paying off some bills first, and then once I do that, just to balance it out, I'll get back into the gym, and we're talking about in a week, you know, and get back to it. Let's see if I can squeeze in a fight, probably December. Let's see how I'm feeling, you know.
I actually was going to lead to my next question of if you had another fight book, but
I did get offered.
You're ready.
I got offered a fight, and it for me, if I get offered a fight, I have to say yes. You know,
really?
Yes, it's something. I don't know if it's my ego.
I mean, you're young, and you're an amateur fighter still. I feel like that might change when you go pro.
Right. And
if you're not getting paid for it, you know, things change. When you get paid for it, maybe you think about it a little bit.
Yeah, you know, see Combs out over there went back in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, when they offer me a fight, no matter who it is, no matter if you're the champ, it doesn't matter who it is, I will take it. But right now I'm being smart. I'm having the discipline to say no, just because I want to pay off some bills first. And like I said, if I want to fight, I have to put the hours on the mat. I have to. If I'm not, I won't fight. I won't do that.
Because it doesn't feel right. Like, you know,
you don't have. Yeah, you build your confidence in the gym, you know.
Yeah. So, okay. So that answers that question. I was going to ask what is next for you, but so you're pretty, so you would like to get another one in this year. I know we're coming up to the end of the year, but
Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I
yeah.
don't want to be too pushy of saying yes, but let's just see, because this championship, I wasn't gonna fight. Like I said, I was having trouble putting the hours I wanted in the gym for me to feel comfortable, and I still took it. And look what happened, you know. But
Yeah.
so let's just see what happens, you know.
Yeah.
Now, talking about putting the hours in on the mat, how long do you set your fight camps for then?
My fight camps, if I would try to put at least 2 months of a solid camp, 2 months. If it
About 8 weeks.
8 weeks, if not the most 3, just to get a good one in, you know. I feel like this last fight, I was kind of like training. I was coming in every day, but I wasn't training as much hours. I probably cut off 2 hours, you know. And when my coach offered me a fight, I took it, and it was about 3 weeks. 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and
Wow.
just to have that switch in your mind saying that you're gonna fight in 3 weeks. That's when I started training for the fight. So I say 3 weeks was the least, and the most I'd say I'd want is 3 months the most.
Yeah. 3 weeks is pretty tight.
Yeah, it's
That's
tight.
pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, people don't understand.
Now,
Like it takes a while for your cardiovascular to get up there, you know, and all that. It takes weeks.
Especially if you're going to learn anything new. You know, you have what you have and you can utilize that, but you're still trying to retain and create that, you know, that muscle memory to come through in those times where maybe you can't think in there, or maybe you're getting overwhelmed and your body just to push through, you know, without all that brain power.
Yeah, you like I said, I want to prepare I want to go in there dominating. You know, I don't want to go in there looking like I need more work. I want to go in there looking good, and I want to dominate, you know? So the hours matter.
And so as far as your past fights that you've had, what kind of fighters do you fight? Is there a pattern, or is it kind of all over the place? Do you fight, have you found yourself fighting like just a wrestler who's known for jiu-jitsu and wrestling, or have you fought all types of opponents so far?
All of my opponents, I don't know if they know that I'm a striker, and they're trying to figure this smart move out. Like, I don't know if they just want to grapple me on purpose because they know that striking it's my advantage. So all my fights, except for the first one. The first one, he was a Muay Thai fighter. I could just tell. I could tell. Yeah. He caught me pretty good, you know. But after that, I started getting a lot of grapplers all of a sudden, you know. And I feel like that's on purpose because if I want to go pro, there's going to be a lot of these grapplers. So might as well deal with these guys now instead of later. You know what I mean? Like
if you go into, you know, Bellator or UFC or any of those top organizations and they look at your background, they're like, okay, so this guy is a striker. A lot of times they put you with just straight ground fighters, and it's almost like they're setting you up in a way.
No,
so yeah, it's a pretty good move.
I feel like that's in my favor right now because, like I said, if I want to do this, I want to make sure I'm ready. You know, I want to make sure I'm ready for these wrestlers. I hate them.
Yeah. So do you plan on, I'm sorry, maybe you said this earlier, but do you plan on doing any jiu-jitsu tournaments or anything like that in the future?
Yeah. My gym, they attend a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, like
a lot.
Go to Vegas and stuff. My coach just went to Vegas for high rollers, and he won the whole thing, you know?
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty tight. So we compete a lot in jiu-jitsu, and I feel like it's time for me to get in there and see how it goes.
Yeah, try it out. You have your blue. Let's go.
Now, how often do you mix up your gi and no gi since you are competing in MMA?
So in the summer in Fresno, it gets really hot. We
all know that.
We eliminate it. No, we don't want to deal with that. But,
okay, so during the summers when you guys go no gi, so you get some reps in that way.
We do gi a lot. That's our main theme. But for us fighters, us amis and pros, we take it off a lot of the times, and we practice because in the cage, it's
well, you don't have a gi in the cage. So
you don't have the handles.
Yeah. So during the class, sometimes we want to wear it on. We will. And like I said, for us fighters, usually we're bare skin. The sweat and the skin, and that's it.
Unless you're cutting weight.
Yeah, unless you're cutting weight, you
Yeah.
Now, do you have an end game of when you want to go pro? Like that is your goal, but do you have, I want to get X amount of fights in before I go pro, or is it just when your coaches tell you, you know what, we think you're ready to take that next step?
Well, I'll always trust my coach no matter what he tells me. I trust it. He has a lot of good knowledge, but right now, my goal is I'll squeeze in 30 amateur fights. I'll squeeze in 50 if I have to before I go pro. If I have to fight every week, multiple times a month, I will, just so that I could get as much experience as I can. I want to go in there, like I said, with experience, and I want to go in there and dominate. So I feel like as much fights as I can will be best for me before I go pro.
Do you have any idea how close you may be to getting offered maybe a title fight?
A title fight as an amateur?
Yeah.
I am a title holder right now. Are you talking about 2 belts or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you already had a belt.
No.
That answers my question. Okay. So when did you get that belt?
I got that belt about, I want to say a week ago. I'm not sure.
This is your last fight. Your last fight. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now we've talked to multiple amateurs that, like talking about the whole title belt situation. We've talked to multiple amateurs who go to other promotions and basically just end up looking like Thanos, just with the Infinity Gauntlet and just all kinds of belts.
Right.
Do you have that type of goal as well, or is it just the big picture of competing pro?
I would love to get some hardware. I'd love to. It feels good. It feels great. I'd love to just hang them out in my house one day, so it's just for memories. I will, but if for the bigger picture, I want to go to the UFC. I want to go to the,
of course,
or something, and the belts, I don't care about them. I want the experience. Like I said, I want the experience. That's what matters. And I want real belts. I don't want any kind of belts. I want real champions, people who are really dominant in the game,
Mm-hmm.
You're in the right spot at 559 fights, man. You're going to be fighting against the cream of the crop.
Yes.
Yeah, you are in a really good established organization right now with 559. I mean, their shows are pretty good.
They're awesome.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good setup. I feel like they do get fighters set up for like being in that spotlight. I feel like they do really put that on with like they really pay attention to the fighters. They really promote them. They want them to feel that like that arena style fight. I feel like the whole show promotion is pretty good. Getting you used to being in the spotlight, because that's another part to fighting. At least nowadays it is. I mean, before I think people could say that their skill would speak for themselves. Now you actually have to speak for yourself. You have to market yourself. You have to put yourself out there. I feel like otherwise you might get lost, in the division and people might not know who you are. So do you feel pressure to like promote yourself or worry about anything like that? Or are you just focused on your skill?
Believe it or not, I am focused on what's in front of me. I see a lot of people going out there and they try to promote, and I feel like a lot of times you get lost in that era, And
right, yeah, because you could spend too much time doing that and not
and it's
actually training.
Fun, but it could be a distraction at the same time, and I feel like this whole time I haven't been really working on promoting myself, which I should be now, and I will soon. But
that's why you come on here and you practice.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just I focus so much on the fight that I don't care about promoting myself. Like I don't even care about selling the tickets. I just want to fight. Like fight.
That's a whole other, like, aside from dealing with are you good enough for this fight, now you got to worry about selling tickets. You got to worry about like promoting yourself.
That's why I give you fighters a lot of credit, because of all the things you have to do.
Right.
And that does include selling tickets for some promotions, and it's tough.
They don't sell them for you. You go out there.
And those promotions do love a fighter that sells out, a lot of seats for those fights. So that I always felt like kind of awkward. Like I did amateur Muay Thai, and like, they really want you to sell your tickets. And I'm like, well, I don't care. I'll be the only one there.
You
I
sell the
don't
tickets.
You sell the tickets.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you do it.
You're already doing the fighting. You're doing the show. Like,
And then you got to worry about selling tickets. Otherwise, maybe you won't get recognized, or maybe they don't feel so keen on putting you on that fight card next because over someone else that sells out half of the room, because the fights are pretty small when you're amateur. But I always felt like a weird, awkward pressure where I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Screw you. I'm only working on, training and making sure that you do something good in there rather than sell a bunch of tickets and, get knocked out, so.
Yeah,
I was always curious about that because it is getting bigger. MMA is huge now, and promoting is like one of the biggest things. Look at like a Conor McGregor who really puts himself out there. Luckily, he is good to back it up as well. But he puts himself out there so much that look where he is now. When people that don't like media and they're quiet but they're still good don't get that much attention.
Right.
I feel like it's totally shifting now with all the media stuff.
Out of a show. I feel like it's not like focusing on who the fighter is. They want someone who could bring people in and cameras and all that stuff. And I get it. Well, it's understandable. If I have to do that, I will. Just
right. Cross that bridge when it gets there, huh?
Show me the money and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Now you are at one of the more elite schools in the Valley for MMA. Who are some of the guys that you're training with?
I'm training people like Diablo brothers, Jose Avalos.
Oh yeah.
I train we have a boxer, a really popular boxer. His name's Mark Castro, and he's really known in the boxing era. He's an internet guy. He's a great boxer as well. Yeah, he's pretty big, man. He's all over Fresno, stuff like that. When I came in there, I didn't know what was going on. I was new to everything. We have people who are ex. I'm not sure if it's UFC fighters like Josh Koscheck. He was the owner once at the Throne.
Mm-hmm.
And had a lot of UFC fighters there. You know what I mean? Back in the day.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot of new and upcoming professionals and amateur fighters. The gym is known. I don't know if it's for its history or for how much we work there, and we have elite people. We have good people there. I feel like
I've covered that gym quite a bit in my time of covering MMA in the Central Valley, so I know quite a bit about it. He's gone.
Come back.
We're not done. There he is. It's all good, man. I've covered that gym quite a bit since its opening, and you guys have always had some, very elite fighters come through, and so it's always interesting because it seems like the Central Valley goes through lulls, and there was a lull for a little bit, but it seems like you guys at Dethrone are starting to make more of a presence known again, and that's why I was curious about who do you guys have going over there. So it's very interesting to hear about. You guys are still still having young up and coming talent such as yourself and others to maintain a certain level of excellence in MMA field.
It's a new generation now in Dethrone, and I feel like the people now are setting roots there, before we leave, before something happens. You know what I mean? I feel like we're the ones setting the roots now because everybody else is older, left to like different organizations.
What you trying to say, man?
We're all old.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do feel like us youngsters, we're the new generation too.
Especially when you got guys like the Avalos brothers out there, like
those guys are
some bad dudes.
Good grapplers. That's where I get my grappling from, and people don't understand how good the grappling is there. And those guys are good, dude. They're good jiu-jitsu players.
Who's your Muay Thai coach over there?
My Muay Thai coach. We just got a new guy from One Kick's gym. I'm not sure what happened, but his name is Drew, and he is
Is it Drew? I think I used to train with him. I think I know who you're talking about.
Long hair.
Yeah. What's his last name? Grijalva. That's his last name.
Sure, but if he's from One Kick's gym and he has braids, those tattoos and stuff like that.
That's him. Yeah. So he would come to my gym once in a while for Muay Thai.
Uh-huh.
in between his situation. I think he moved around a lot, but he's a very good guy. And
Yeah.
I think he was teaching at, I want to say Halo. I'm not sure what the situation was, so I don't want to say.
One Kicks is operating out of Halo, I believe.
Okay, so it was One Kick still. Yeah. Okay, so now he's at Dethroned. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. He just became a member of the team. You know,
he's great. Yeah.
He's young, but I have the same respect I have for my other coaches, is the same respect I have for him. And he's also a fighter at the same time. You know, he's fighting soon. So.
Oh, is he? That's great. Yeah, I went to Vegas to watch one of his fights. It was a lion fight. It was a while back. I think it's been a couple of years. He was great. Yeah, he did really good.
I feel like we were missing a piece of the puzzle, and I feel like he's the one that's gonna sharpen us up.
That's awesome because you guys do have everything over there, so it helps when you get that right piece that you need to complete the puzzle.
Yeah,
it makes all the difference to where you don't have to go to one more gym just to get that extra. You know, you have it all right there. That's really cool.
Now, is there a way? I know you're probably not. You might be big on social, but is there a way people can find out about you through social, Instagram? Go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah, you could on Instagram. You could my thing's XXX_805, all lowercase. I mostly post there. I post on Facebook, as you can see. It's Martin Stevens Montez. And you'll see more on Instagram. Instagram is where I'm trying to build up my what you could clout, you should say. So Instagram and Facebook, Martin Steven Montez, XXX805 Instagram.
All right. Is there anybody else you want to shout out? Any sponsors? Any family?
Yeah. Shout out to Gentle Art. Shout out to Anthony Takuris. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Bloodline Elite Muay Thai. I haven't forgotten about anybody since day one. Shout out to Dethroned. Shout out to everybody in Dethroned, all the employees, everyone. Like everybody that I've crossed paths with. Thank you guys. And you guys know who you are.
All right. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing about your next fight. I imagine I'll be reaching out to Edson from 559 Fights, who helps me out and gets me guests, which I appreciate. So thank you, Martin, for joining us, and we look forward to hearing about you more in the future, man.
Yeah, come back.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good one. All right, that was cool.
That's awesome.
Especially we've seen so many different crops of amateur fighter guys that are just debuting.
All ages too.
It's so diverse, and I love it. It's insane. I do look forward to seeing what comes out of the Dethroned camp. Because I
haven't paid attention to Dethroned lately. I've been in and out there a few times, but that was I think Josh Koscheck was there still at that time.
That's how I got thrown out of there when he was there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah. Good times, right?
At the time, trying to be a real MMA journalist.
Yeah, I felt so uncomfortable there because it wasn't my gym, so I felt a little awkward when I would go visit like for a day or two, like just to get a training session in with somebody. But that gym has been there for so long, and a lot of people have gone in and out of there. A lot of people have taught in and out of there that are now other gyms too. So I feel like everyone kind of has a piece of that gym. Yeah,
it's still a great gym, a quality gym.
They have everything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the environment is. From the sound of it, it sounds great from what he just said. So that's good. I feel like a long time ago, you would hear these stories of, like the wild, wild west over there. Long time ago.
I think it was, but I think they finally got their bearings. They do have a diverse group of people there, which really is just open to everyone.
Yeah, and that place is such a good place where it's like, man, you would think it would have to be thriving over there because they have everything. They have really
beautiful
good
gym.
coaches.
Both locations are gorgeous.
I've only been to one of them. I think it was the Bullard and Marks location.
Yeah. Their location on Clovis Avenue is huge.
Yeah, so that's good. I'm glad that they're still there and that they are bringing up more like amateur fighters. So that's good. He's super young. Sounds like he's doing really well. So that's cool. I like to see that because I think the future is so bright for those guys.
That are active. Especially the younger and younger they get to being in it.
So 22. That's pretty young, I think, or I think it's a very good age to be
Well,
getting
can we really say that when the
amateur.
UFC has a fighter that's 18, that's a UFC fighter?
Well, you have that too, so that's yeah. So 22, you would think, well, if you're going to be a pro fighter, then you should be where you're at, if that's what you're doing. Like because you give yourself about 10 years of like promoting yourself, winning fights, and being in an organization that's on top. So I think like around that age is like the best time to be doing all this stuff and to have the amount of fights that he has already, which is really good.
Yeah.
6 amateur fights, that's great. That's good for that age and his
And
skill
a title
level.
holder.
And a title holder, yeah, for sure. That definitely helps. So we've talked to a lot of different people who've had multiple titles, maybe just one title, no titles at all.
That's why I'm always curious about, because he's only competed for 559, about going to other promotions competing, but he is
never know.
He's all, I like that idea, but here's the end goal.
I think he's at a good spot where he's at. I don't know where else he would go. I mean, you'd have to go out of state, I think.
No, there's plenty of, if he wants a title fight, I imagine there are plenty of local promotions that would be glad to have him come in and compete.
I just wonder what other ones out there. They must be up north somewhere. I bet there's good. Dude, there's so many fighters up in like San Jose area that are so great.
Well, AKA, come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. And like all their shows have a lot of AKA fighters. So that's pretty good because you're going to come across those guys.
You have Ultimate Fitness. I think it's still Ultimate Fitness, I believe is what it's called. Uriah Faber's gym.
Yeah, I think so. But that's great because if you can compete against people from those gyms, like those are the gyms you're going to come across in UFC or Bellator. Those are the guys.
That's it. I agree. All right. Well, we still have stuff to talk about. We have to talk about one of our favorites, one of our absolute favorites, Jake Paul.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Anderson Silva.
Oh, I know. He is, like, we know he's a favorite. He's one of the GOATs. But no, we're going to talk about Jake Paul. Because why? Because he beat Anderson Silva by decision.
Last night.
He did drop him in his fight.
He did.
He knocked him down. Didn't knock him out, but he knocked him down. Played very heavily.
All right. Yeah.
From what I understood, if I understood correctly, was that Anderson Silva was performing very well early on and looked very good. But then Jake Paul just seemed to hang in.
He hung in there.
Was landing some combinations later in the fight that is probably what set him over the top to get the decision victory over.
Right. Well, okay. So I don't know how the judges had each round, but watching it through the shoddy stream I had.
You paid for it.
Right. I paid for it. Right. So it was really hard to really get a good sense of round by round scores. I was just kind of more watching who had the edge, like an obvious edge. So Anderson Silva did so good. He was landing a lot of shots and Jake Paul did not go down, which I was a little surprised. Like he took really big hits and hung in there. He didn't look great. For a while. And I thought that, okay, Silva's got this. He's used to going all these rounds, from MMA, and he didn't even look tired. Jake Paul was over there. Looked like he was dying. He looked like he was dying whenever
he looked like, you have it spot on. He looked like death.
Right. And I was like, I think he's done. I've never seen him. He's never gone this many rounds before, I don't think. And
I believe he's gone to decision before.
Oh, did he?
Not against somebody like Anderson Silva.
And then Anderson Silva surprised me. I didn't know how legit of a boxer he was. He's very, very good. I didn't know that he's so good.
Competing. He competed against. Oh, who was it? Why can I not remember right now? But he's still competing in boxing as of late. And now I believe he's also talking about going and doing some jiu-jitsu tournaments. That actually would scare the bejesus out of me.
Right? Yeah.
Like, who? Really?
Yeah. That's good for him. Okay. But Jake Paul looked terrible in between rounds. He looked like he didn't know what was going on, but he got back up and still did his thing, but he took a lot of shots but didn't go down. And towards the end of the fight, Anderson Silva still looked pretty good. It's just those split seconds when you drop your hand
and he got
and
caught.
get
That's what
caught.
knocked him
And I
down.
knew that if he got caught with one of his punches being the size that Jake Paul is, I know they weighed in at the same. I just don't think they're the same. But
Well, weigh-ins is one thing, but you also have to realize when they rehydrate and do all the other stuff.
this fight was at 185. So I was like, oh, that's Anderson Silva's weight. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this for real. Like they both made the weight.
But I'm pretty sure Anderson Silva just walks around at like 185.
I think so too. That's what I was thinking, because I'm like, okay, Jake Paul's way bigger than that. He walks around at like 2 something for sure.
Has to.
For sure. You could just tell his structure is a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but when they stood toe to toe with each other, they're the same height. I just think Jake Paul had a little bit of a size advantage, but not much. Like, you really can't say like, oh, he's way bigger. It really didn't look that way, but I just think he is. So I thought once Silva got caught with something, it was probably going to be trouble. He did take some punches really well, but he got knocked down, and I think it was the 8th round. Mm-hmm. It was either the 8th or the 7th. I don't remember, but he got a knockdown, and I think that just made up the judge's mind that honestly, I don't know. It was super close. But since Jake Paul got that knockdown, I think that put it over the edge. But the scorecards were like unanimous. Like, and I was like, yeah, you know, that knockdown. But man, they both did really, really good. And I don't know what happened. I think Jake Paul got a second wind or something. I don't know. He came back and hung in there. I didn't think he was going to hang in there that long. I was like, okay, He's going to gas out anytime now, because he was gassing out in the corner.
I think Jake Paul's a lot tougher than we really want to give him credit for.
He is. Now I do, because I didn't know he could take so many punches from like an Anderson Silva and still last 8 rounds and get that knockdown. Even after that knockdown, he did look pretty tired. They were both tired by that point, but I'm impressed with both of them. Anderson Silva is 47 years old.
Yeah, 22.
So when you think about it, I was like, oh,
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul is super young. Is he in his 20s still, or is he in his 30s now? 20s?
No, he's in his 20s.
Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty good on both of their parts. Anderson Silva can box like that at 47, and Jake Paul, with the limited experience that he has in boxing, was able to go all those rounds with him. And I did. Okay, so my mind before this fight, I was like, Anderson Silva's going to get knocked out. I think he's going to get knocked out because Jake Paul's big. He knows how to punch. And Anderson Silva, I didn't know what kind of shape he was in, being that he was old. And I heard rumors that he was getting knocked out in sparring for this fight. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but whatever. They had an issue approving him to fight where he was at for some reason. So he got approved eventually. So I was like, oh, well, this doesn't look good already, but I was really impressed with both of them. So, and Jake Paul called out Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Canelo. Canelo is so much smaller than him.
Yeah. Canelo would be a tough, I feel like when Canelo is like, okay, I'm done boxing. Okay, now I'll box you.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do any of that shit.
Canelo's still good right now. All right. He's doing commercials for liquor where he gets paid like lots and lots of money and looks really really good in the commercials. He doesn't look like some boxers that are older that are.
Oh, no. Yeah.
No, he's good.
Yeah. But I think that Nate Diaz would be interesting.
That would be a big money fight. I know people would buy into it because I would probably be one of them. Just because I want to see, we all want to see both Paul brothers get beat up.
Right? Everyone wants to see that.
Doesn't matter what or who.
And we're still waiting because he's won every single fight that he's had. So we're still waiting.
I was actually, I had this conversation before we started the podcast with my friends. Jake Paul is the new Floyd Mayweather. Oof. And I don't mean that. I mean that in the way he sells a fight. I don't mean that in the way that he boxes.
Right.
And the way he sells a fight. Because we all want to see. I don't know of anybody who's like, you know what? I want to see Jake Paul win. No.
Right.
Him lose.
But, okay, so I was having this conversation at my gym yesterday after we were done working out. We were just talking about the fights that were coming up. And we were saying that, okay, this is an okay fight for Jake Paul because Anderson Silva is very, very, very experienced, although he's old.
More legitimacy.
More, but I'm still like, when are we going to see him fight a boxer, though? Like, I would even like
boxers chomping at the bit to fight.
Yeah, and I would like to see him fight just maybe a new pro boxer that's been boxing for a while. That is his size, just boxing. Not that he came from MMA or wrestling. Like fighting
I
Ben
had an
Askren,
idea
like
about that, but it's just because he's new. He's newish pro, but he's doing really well for himself. And you may have heard the name Richard Torres.
Mm-mm.
He's from Tulare. He's actually a boxing silver medalist from the 2020 games.
Oh, okay.
After those games, he went pro. He's, like I said, he's from Tulare. To see him, I believe it's Tulare. I don't think it's Visalia. They are neighbors, but I think it's Tulare. To see him go against Jake Paul.
Just anyone that's a regular boxer, not someone that's done, not someone that's a retired MMA fighter. Like
no, that's exactly it. Torres is still young, very young.
Okay.
And so
I would even like to see. I would even.
He has a great physique, and I think he would knock the brakes off of.
Think so?
Oh, for sure. He put him through his paces.
Okay, so I was even thinking, hey, give him a really well experienced amateur boxer. I would still want to see that. Even, because those guys are good.
I'm 38 years old and I'm amateur fighting. I'm an amateur boxer. What's your record? 400-0.
Yeah, do it.
Something crazy.
No, but even just a guy that's about to go pro that's been boxing for a while, I think would be a tougher fight for someone like Jake Paul, being that he didn't grow up boxing. He took it on and does train.
But he puts in the work. So I got to give him a little bit of credit for that.
He's not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Boxing.
Well, there was also Uriah Hall who fought and he won.
Yes, he won.
He competed against, let me bring that story up for you guys. He competed against
although he fought like an NFL player or something like that.
A former NFL player, and he won. Let me click on that, and then let me do this. Ex-UFC fighter, stupid ads. Uriah Hall beats ex-NFL standout Levon Bell in pro boxing debut and then calls out Jake Paul. So even Uriah Hall wants a piece of him.
I'm good with that too.
I am too. I'd watch that.
Well, if he's boxing now, do it.
Yeah. I figure if he might have to get like another win in order to really like want to challenge, but
yeah, he's got to fight again. He's got to fight a boxer.
That's it.
Also, same situation.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was really it for that card.
I was pleasantly surprised. I'm so glad that Anderson Silva still looks that good.
Right? And even though he lost, like nobody takes anything away from him.
Right.
It's not like a Ben Askren or a Tyrone Woodley who are like, man, no, we're like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Logan Paul or Jake Paul won. He's getting the respect now.
I just don't think that he's going to fight a boxer. I think he's going to call out these guys that he wants handpicked.
Because those are their freak show fights, like we've talked about in the past. But they also draw money. That's the point.
He's all about money.
He doesn't care about a fight record. He wants to draw money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fine. That's it.
Hopefully Nate Diaz will be the next one to step up to the plate because I think that would be a good fight.
Oh, he would make so much money. I think he should. I would watch that. Yeah.
So would I. I'd pay for it.
I would probably pay
and that's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot for well, it's a Nate Diaz fight. It's not just a Logan Paul or Jake Paul fight. That's a Nate Diaz fight. That's a whole other world.
Very much so. Which he was there and confronted him, I believe, at the after everything. Yeah. So.
Oh no, they got in a huge fight in the back. So
and for free. What the hell?
I don't know what happened. There's beer flying everywhere. It was crazy looking.
Always is.
Yeah, they got in a scuffle back there pretty bad. But so you know how like Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather came together and had that massive fight? I feel like a Nate Diaz and Jake or Logan Paul would be probably Jake Paul would be the same thing. And I think that should happen.
I think the media attention drawn to it would be bigger.
Yeah, but it would be so much grittier because Nate will just scrap with anyone at any time.
That's true. That dude is like blood. Okay.
Obviously, he started a fight in the back. I have to think that this was a setup, that he went back there and did his thing for this, because I think he wants to set up his next move as a good move. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will find out because I'm very interested to see what happens next in the saga of Jake Paul, the boxer.
Yeah.
We shall definitely see about that. And that's going to do it for us here at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.